Hey there, my name is Hydrogen Heather, and here we are finding ourselves in day 4 of remote learning, and we are going to jump right into the science of forensics, capillary action, and chromatography. But before we jump into the experiment, I'd like to ask you 2 quick favors. Number 1, we are in day 4 of posting these videos of experiments, and we're going to ask if there is any great constructive criticism that you have to make these actually usable right in your kitchen. Please write them in the comments below. For example, are the experiments too hard? Are they too easy? Are the materials too hard to get a hold of? Are you having a good time, an easy time finding them in your kitchen? Am I explaining too much? Am I explaining too little? We really want some constructive feedback, because primary goal number 1 for these videos is we want to make sure that as we go through the remote schooling day, that we can just break it up a little bit with a little bit of fun in the kitchen. Number 2, I would like to ask that you share the video, and again, for one reason only. I want to make sure that the people who may not have as much experience in education have just one more tool in their toolbox to use in these days as well. I noticed that a lot of people who are interacting with these posts are educators, and so it might be second nature to do this kind of thing at home, but keep in mind, for every person out there like you or like me who has an education background and we're kind of learning the process of remote learning, but that is a very quick learning curve, there might be 10 or 15 or 20 other people who have absolutely no experience in the field of education. Think about all the people who are at home remotely working right now or not working at all. Could be an IT person, an accountant, anybody in the retail industry, the entire customer service industry. So there are a lot of people who might not have the comfort level, and we want to make sure that by sharing, we get this into the hands of as many people as possible who can actually use these as part of their day. So let's jump right in. Like I said, forensics, capillary action, and chromatography. So what we're going to need for this experiment is a few different colored markers. And you want to make sure that the markers are water soluble. Typically, the markers that you buy at the beginning of the year for your children's school supply packets are water soluble, but these are what work the best. We're going to need some pipe cleaners, and you have to cut the pipe cleaners, and I can't give you a measurement, but you're going to notice that I have some small cups of water. The size of your cup really doesn't matter, but what we want to do is whatever cup you choose, we want to cut the pipe cleaner so that it's just a little bit above the top of that cup. So you do need a little bit of water. For whatever cup you choose, we fill it about 3/4 of the way full. We're going to need some coffee filters, and I hear a rumor going around that not everybody in the world wakes up with coffee. I can't even imagine that. However, there's good news. If you do not drink coffee and you don't have coffee filters in the house, you can simply grab a paper towel and cut it into a circle roughly the size of a coffee filter, and you have homemade chromatography paper. And then finally, we are going to need paper plates or newspaper, and this is so that as we draw on the first part, we don't go through onto our countertops. So step number 1 in this experiment is we are going to grab a water-soluble marker. We're going to put our coffee filter or paper towel on our plate. And of course, if you're using a coffee filter, we know that they come in the shape of an umbrella. We kind of want to flatten it out a little bit. And we're going to draw a nice big dot right in the center of our chromatography paper. And we want that dot to be at least as big as a quarter or a penny, just a nice big coin. So we're going to draw that very quickly. So it kind of looks like the center of an eyeball. And then the next thing we're going to do is we are going to take our pipe cleaner, and we're going to stick it right through the bottom of that umbrella, right in the middle of the dot, so that it comes out the other side. And then what I like to do is, just to make sure that it doesn't accidentally go back out, I'm going to bend the top just a little bit. And so actually what we've made is a little umbrella with a straight stem. Now we're going to take that umbrella, and we are going to put the pipe cleaner right into the water so that the umbrella unfolds outside of the cup. And this is going to be where the capillary action comes in. Capillary action is a little bit like a ladder. The water is going to start to actually crawl up the pipe cleaner, and when that happens, it's going to hit the ink, and that's where we see the chromatography and the forensics. Because what's going to happen, the forensics part of this, is that the ink is going to separate out. If you look at a black marker, you may or may not have ever wondered exactly what goes into a black marker to make it black. Exactly what goes into a green marker to make it green. Exactly what goes into a brown marker to make it brown. Well, once this capillary action begins, it's going to separate everything out. It's a little bit like a forensics laboratory solving a mystery. So, at this point, I want you to take a look at one that we started just over an hour ago. You're going to see how the colors have spread out. I'm not going to tell you what color marker that we used for this one that's already been in there for an hour, but the next direction would be is once the water has gone all the way to the outside of your homemade chromatography paper, that's when we're going to go ahead and remove the stem from the umbrella. And then I think the easiest thing to do is simply put it back over your cup and then let it dry. It's going to take several hours, but at the end, you're going to have this beautiful separation of the colors that were inside whatever marker you chose. Now comes the flower part, and you're going to notice I'm not even going to attempt this on camera. At this point, I want to make sure that you take the time to click in to the link that includes the lesson plan. It gives you a step-by-step direction to make the actual flower. I can do an awful lot of science, but I'm the last person that you want doing something crafty, so I'm going to leave that to you. So again, this has been forensics, chromatography, and capillary action, all that get put into flour right on your kitchen counter. And we will see you right back here again tomorrow afternoon.